Well, good morning, and welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. It is Wednesday, June the 21st. Wow. Again, time is right along, isn't it? The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. Hope you are well this glorious day. Uh, I know you're asking if, what preparations are we making for the great tropical depression that is barreling down on us? None at this point. Um, as this tropical depression gets closer and we have some information that anybody gives a crap about, then I'll be sure to tell you what we're experiencing here in West Central Florida, if anything. Um, we'll either tell you here or we'll tell you on Instagram or TikTok or Twitter or whatever. So right now, everybody just chill out. Thank you again for your prayers. We can pray. I mean, I believe that we can pray, and we don't have to experience these storms in any sort of harmful way. But in the words of a true Floridian, we could use the rain. We could use the rain, that's for sure. All right. For a lot of you who are supporters of President Trump, I don't know if you're going to like the show or not, but I think that we always need to be honest about what we're looking at. You know, I think that that's really a requirement, that we're always honest and open about what we're talking about. And somebody we've been able to depend on as being honest and open in Congress for a while is Republican Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, the son of Ron Paul. He criticized former President Trump for allowing Dr. Anthony Fauci to head the White House COVID response, despite being a menace to the truth, as Rand Paul says. Appearing Tuesday night, that was last night, on Fox News Waters World, with host Jesse Waters, in the wake of the Trump's lengthy interview with anchor Bear, Paul argued that the former president should not be so proud of keeping Fauci around. Scott Morefield tweeted, Senator Rand Paul rips Trump for keeping Fauci around. Here's a quote that Scott Morefield put on Twitter. He should not be so proud of keeping Fauci around. Fauci was a menace to the truth. Talk about a font of misinformation. Is Anthony Fauci. More misinformation came out of the government than any other source. So he should not. I'll make sure I get the whole quote. Well, he should have fired him. And there were calls early, and I'm sure you guys remember, there were a lot of calls early for Trump to let him go. But the quote, Fauci was a menace to the truth. Talk about a fount of misinformation. Is Anthony Fauci. More misinformation came out of the government than any other source, so he should have fired him. Waters then played a clip of Bear challenging Trump on the issue of the former president using civil service rules as an excuse before asking Paul whether the Fauci issue would play a big role in the Republican primary. It may, because Fauci did stick around, Paul said. There may be civil service rules about actually firing him, but there's no reason he had to head up the pandemic committee, the COVID committee. Paul went on to describe Fauci's refusal to admit the science of natural immunity when putting that science into action by allowing previously infected healthcare workers to work in nursing homes that would have saved many lives. And there would have been a better way, and there would have been a better way under the Trump administration to marginalize and push Fauci out of the spotlight and keep his nonsense and his misinformation from infecting the rest of us, he concluded. Now, I think it's true. I think there was a way to minimize Fauci. And Fauci didn't need to be on the platform every day. leading up the response, right? And especially if you look at Fauci and the HIV response. So his history wasn't all that good. And then we find out his connections to gain of function research and all this other stuff. Maybe there would have been a better person. Maybe there would have better been a person than Anthony Fauci. Now, here's the deal. If this is going to affect the primary, as I look down at the comments, and I try not to ever read comments in articles because they drive me crazy. The very first comment is every president makes mistakes, but this was a big one. Nevertheless, I will vote for Trump again if he's the nominee. Anybody but Joey and his ilk. Like, here's the deal. Like, the only choices right now, although there hasn't been a candidate that's won a nomination, there hasn't been a candidate that's won an election yet. Have been election. There hasn't been an election held. But this person in the comments here is ready to vote for Trump because it's either Trump or Joe Biden. They've already made this binary thing in their brain that's the only thing, two things they could be. And there could be countless other scenarios, right? I mean, we're months away from the first primary, let alone the general election in more than a year, right? So is this going to have some effect? Is this going to have some effect on the Republican primaries? My guess is no. My thought is yes. Attitude in the comments writes, funny how hindsight is always 2020 vision. And I think this is just another Trump supporter coming to the defense of Donald Trump. People said while this was going on, while this was happening, he needs to get rid of this person. He needs to fire Fauci. I think he didn't fire Fauci because he was afraid of the political repercussions. Now, before y'all all get stupid, and some of you will get stupid, I told y'all, and if you watch this show at all, if you watch any of these podcasts, I've told you, we didn't vote. Nobody in my house voted for Trump in the Florida primary. We all voted for Trump in the general election. Okay. We voted for, I mean, there was nobody to vote for other than Trump in the Republican primary in 2020. But in 16, we voted for him in the general election. So don't come at me like that because that will just make you look stupid. All right. But here's the deal. I think it's super important that we remain honest about what should have happened. What should have happened. The next comment after attitudes, funny how hindsight is 2020, is from somebody who says, "Oh, no, it's not. I and tons of other in the medical field were almost screaming at the TV and Trump every time Trump trotted out this ultimate deep state dirtbag as an expert. We knew what falsy is. Falsy, a backstabbing, greedy, arrogant government bureaucrat. Again, there were people who knew. But now we've got a whole slew of folks that are going to defend Trump on every decision. The question that's not being asked is Trump in some way responsible for people who've been damaged by the vaccine? Did Operation Warp Speed lead to vaccine damage? Did it? I don't know. But I think it's okay to ask the question. Yes. If you're going to take credit for the good stuff, you have to take the responsibility for the things that didn't work out. You have to take you have to eat all of the dinner, the steak and the Brussels sprouts. It's going to be an interesting. I think it's going to be a very very interesting primary. Um, Trump's not going to get out of the race. He's not. Um, my governor DeSantis, his campaign team is pretty good. Is trolling President Trump after Trump says he surrounded himself with only the best people. Now this is the tweet from the DeSantis war room. In 2016, you said I'm going to be surround myself with only the best and most serious people. Trump said, "Well, I did that." Well, in reality, he surrounded himself with people like Christopher Wray, Anthony Fauci, and Kim Kardashian. Trump has learned nothing. Nothing. He didn't surround himself with serious people. Christopher Wray, and Anthony Fauci, these are some of the same people that are after Trump now, right? Sean Spicer, remember him? Actually, I don't remember Sean Spicer as much as I remember Melissa McCarthy doing the impression of Sean Spicer on Saturday Night Live. The video attacking Trump's highlights that the 45th president kept Anthony Fauci by his side throughout the entire COVID-19 pandemic while serving as president. The social media post also claims Trump relied on Fauci's so-called expertise to handle the China virus. On the contrary, during the height of COVID, Trump attacked Fauci, calling him a disaster, insisting that if he fired the Democrat, it would cause a bomb to go off. Told you that's why. It was political. Now the problem with that's understandable, but the problem with that is that the information that was coming out was actually killing people. The governor's team also noted that Trump tapped Wray to head the FBI in 2017, who would eventually lead a political witch hunt against him, calling on the woke agency to ambush the president's Mar-a-Lago home. However, in 2020, Trump attacked Wray, attempting to oust the FBI director for encouraging the Russian collusion hoax. He picked him. Trump picked the guy. Meanwhile, in separate interviews, the two GOP 2024 contenders were asked how they plan to win over swing voters. Trump recalled in the last election claiming in 2020, and that there was widespread fraud. You take a look at Truth the Vote, where people are stuffing ballot boxes on tapes. You look at all the stuff ballots Trump said. You take a look at all of those things, including the things like the 51 intelligence agents. Fox News host Bret Baier claimed that the evidence revealed no fraud has been committed during the 2020 elections, despite countless investigations. On the other hand, Ron DeSantis said that his success in governing Florida would appeal to voters in states such as Nevada. I think people here are sick of Biden, DeSantis said. I think they know that he has not done a good job. I don't think they want another 4 years of it, but I do think they want a vehicle of somebody that's going to be looking forward, not backwards, and will be someone I think that has a proven record of success. Now, this is a discussion that we're going to spend a few minutes right now having. I think we need to spend a few minutes right this very second having between these two dudes. Now, I don't think these two dudes are going to could be the end all in the Republican Party. I don't believe that, but we need to have this discussion. How much longer can Trump talk about nefarious activities in 2020 and not focus on what's happening right now? Not focus on the disaster that our involvement in the Ukraine is. Not focused on on the price of on the ridiculous price of oil, not focused on the inflation situation that we're having, not focused on all of these social issues, all the woke agenda, LGBTQ plus, um, and I think I know why that, because I believe that Trump's agnostic on a bunch of the social conservative issues. Agnostic meaning whichever way the most people go, he'll go. It's fine because he's not an ideologue. He doesn't care one way or the other, which is going to make it tough. Although it may not be showing up in the polls right now, but it's going to make it tough for him to keep the stranglehold on evangelical Christians right now. It may not happen right away, but it's going to be tough because those are the issues that are concerning that voter bloc. And Trump's agnostic about all of it, really. Remember, and we've said this here on the program, in 2016, of the two major party candidates, only Trump had not changed his mind. I did a flip flop on gay marriage because he doesn't care. All of us who said this is a very slippery slope, if this happens, happen to be correct. And Trump was like, yeah, whatever. How much longer can he get to talk about the 2020 election? And without having a clear path to say, okay, if this happened, how are you going to prevent it from happening again? How are you going to prevent it from happening again? What plans do you and Rona have to keep it from happening, that happened from happening again? And I haven't heard anything like that. So at this point, forget all the indictments. That only steals the spine of his most ardent base. But what are we going to do? What's he going to do? Is he going to be able to make the switch to start talking about issues after sort of hemming and hawing and being wishy-washy on him participating in debates, which I think will be the worst thing in the world for him. I think that would really hurt him with independence. And a lot of the Democrats, a lot of the regular rank and file Republicans, that would really hurt him. He's going to have to participate in whatever the procedure is. But will he? And if he does, will it do any good? What do you think? Write it in the comments. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the Morning Report. Again, the Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.